I want to start learning about TotemFi. So everybody, so let's get going. This is Chainlink Live. Welcome to Chainlink Live, everybody. My name is Andy Jolyon from Chainlink Labs, and I'm here talking to Harry and Jolly from TotemFi. You guys are brothers and you're founders, and you've just launched TotemFi last week. Integration announcement with Chainlink for price feeds came out, and so let's get together. Let's talk about it. Let's introduce you to our community and introduce your community to us. Awesome to meet you guys. But first, what is TotemFi? Tell us a little bit about what you guys have been building and what this does.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Andy. Yeah. I'm happy to be partnering up with the Link Marines, a strong community over on your side. So that's wonderful. I guess here at TotemFi, we've been focusing on delivering a non-punitive staking-based prediction market. So what we kind of saw over the DeFi summer in 2020 is a lot of staking coins, some prediction markets, but never sort of a combination of the two. So we really want to drive accessibility. So there's some prediction markets here, and what we want to do is expand that to sort of all DeFi users, because they tend to be quite sometimes difficult to use. The ideas behind them are quite complex, and you can leave yourself, with low liquidity on those platforms, and that's what we didn't really want to happen. So the whole idea is we predict BTC, win BTC. Nice and simple. People like simple in crypto. So these are prediction pools that are fixed length on a specific asset. So initially, obviously, we said we've integrated the Chainlink for BSC, BTC price feeds. And that is because we're running 10-day Bitcoin prediction pools. So you have to predict the price of Bitcoin is going to be in 10 days. You get a staking return for those 10 days. And then you get an additional prediction reward in BTC and in Totem. So what that does is it really generates a real ROI for users. If you go on sort of stakingrewards.com or look at a lot of the staking-based protocols, their inflation rate is extremely high. And that means your real rate of adjusted rewards tends to be quite low. And what we wanted to do is make sure that some people get rewards in BTC and Totem. Obviously, there's a lot of expansion for other on-chain, off-chain assets, real-world events, etc. But that's further down the line. We've only just got over the launch now. So yeah, that's it in a nutshell.
So the way I am thinking about it, and correct me if I'm wrong here. So when I look at something like Pool Together, it's a pooled stake, essentially. A lot of different people pool their funds into one smart contract, and then that smart contract is used to farm or stake or generate yield, and then that yield gets paid out. So nobody loses the funds that they staked, but the yield gets paid out to one lucky winner on a drawing. Is that what's happening here? Is it like both sides of a prediction market are all those funds are being used to stake, and then the yield from that is the payout?
Exactly.
Is that what's happening?
There's a small recall fee on entry, so that's kind of like what you'd expect with a lot of the prediction markets, 1 to 3%. So TotemFi sits in there at 3%, and what that does is a recall feature to help generate for the BTC rewards, and obviously we have a staking reserve for the TotemFi side of things. So the Totem tokens that you gain for your staking returns and then for your prediction reward on that side are generated from our staking reserve, and then the recall helps generate the BTC rewards.
So if I put my money in a pool and I make a prediction, and somebody else puts their money in a pool and they make an opposite prediction, in a traditional market, like a typical sort of prediction market, if I'm right, I get it all. But that's not what's happening, because it's non-punitive. Okay, that's the typical way. This way is different, where both people get their initial stake, or most of their initial stake back.
Yeah, most of their initial stake plus the staking rewards. That's the quite intriguing thing. Is
yes,
whatever happens, you get you get your rewards, and then you've got the benefit to try and win.
And we're actually going sort of one step further on that. So sort of our core ideal is on the wisdom of the crowd concept. So it's the sort of Aristotelian ideal of groups have a higher propensity for accuracy than the individual. So it's kind of saying, if there is an average prediction from this whole stake, so this whole 200,000 totem or whatever sort of size pool you're doing, if it's within a certain range, the average weighted amount is correct, you move to a more Pareto efficient outcome where everyone gets a collaborative bonus. And I think that's a very rare phenomenon, because as you say, in traditional markets, it's a zero-sum game. I win, you lose. This is a win-win.
Okay, so wisdom of the crowds is really fascinating to me. I general linear model, I'm very like normal distribution, like statistics. I come from that school.
Yeah, that Gaussian out.
Yeah. So which is it's amazing. It's a miracle of miracles of the universe that general linear model works. You can take infinite samples and it just does this amazing normal distribution. I'm sorry if I got mathy to people here, but that's what this is. But wisdom of the crowd stuff is based on this, but that competitive aspect, that winner take all aspect, is part of it because you've got real stake on the line. So you have to make a real good decision with your stake. Does everybody wins? Does this change the mechanic of wisdom of the crowd?
I guess it's an interesting one, and that's where it's a kind of a live question. Can the crypto community do the impossible and predict the price of Bitcoin as a collective? And I guess that's where we really want to expand the project in terms of using this data analytics, using these sentiment gauges, releasing at the end of each pool, is it bullish or bearish, net sentiment, what's the average prediction, what's the kind of range? And so we're trying to build up these shareable assets. So when people predict, we release these on Twitter, and people have to share and see, like, how people have a leveraged long on Binance. You can share, I leveraged entry price, exit price. It's, I predicted this. This is what the group's prediction is. Interesting stuff.
I think there's an economics paper in here. Well, you guys run this for a couple of months. Seriously, it's a really different. No, I'm not.
Maybe we should show you. It's actually quite simple. So maybe we should just jump in.
Yes. Yeah. Sorry. Let's play a little video. Get people thinking about how this works.
With TotemFi's prediction platform, you can stake your totem, predict the price of assets, and grow your bags with guaranteed totem returns, Bitcoin rewards, and more. Head to our predictor app at TotemFi.com. You'll need to hold Totem in a wallet connected to Binance Smart Chain to use the DApp. You can purchase Totem tokens at these exchanges. Check out our Medium if you need more info on how to do this. Gain guaranteed totem returns and a chance to win Bitcoin, rare NFTs, and other prizes by staking your totem and placing your prediction. At launch, users can predict the price of Bitcoin. More assets to follow. The more totem you stake, the bigger your prediction range, and the more likely you are to win. Easy. By the way, we're the world's first non-punitive prediction protocol. So you can rest easy, knowing that your stake is safe, even if your prediction isn't right yet. You can claim your rewards and track your predictions using the My Accounts page. And it's as simple as that, to stake, predict, and grow with TotemFi. TotemFi's predictor protocol is live on BSC mainnet now. Join the warriors at TotemFi.com.
Cool. So you guys launched last week, is that what you said?
Yeah.
How did it go? Tell us the launch story. How did things go?
Oh, you know how it is. It's a lot of emotion that sort of brings you to those points. It's about just over a year since me and Haz had the first idea over one too many beers. And it's really enjoyable to see that the whole team's come together to deliver it. I think we got it out on time. There's a little 10-minute delay in actually getting them on mainnet, but overall we kind of had 3 pools fill up straight away. So that's about 15% of circulating supply, which was quite impressive. And we were super happy about that. Just under $500,000 total value locked, which from DeFi Pulse is relatively about just under the top 100 DeFi protocols. So I mean, that was awesome to see those kind of results and the community traction.
You guys are on BSC. Why did you choose BSC? How's that been?
Well, we sort of hope to be sort of omni-chain. We're also on Ethereum, but at the moment the gas fees were so high that it would kind of ruin the gamification of our platform, in the sense that the rewards would be outweighed by the gas fees. So BSC is really, really quick, and it means it's not a lot to make each prediction. So for now, it's a really, really great way for our first few markets. And there's lots of other solutions coming along, and I definitely think we're going to be a multi-chain prediction.
Yeah, I guess just adding on to that, it's a kind of a FUBU. We're crypto fanatics first and foremost, that have been sort of in and around the market for 8 to 10 years, and we love staking using lots of different DeFi protocols, but realize that if you're not a whale on ETH right now and Gwei's up at 75, you're not making $100 prediction on the BTC price. It's just uneconomical, So we had to say, what can we do the best for our community? And that's actually trying to gain access to a chain where they can predict for 10 cents.
A lot of I talked to a lot of developers as well, and protocol engineers, and testing smart contracts and deploying every smart contract.
The deploying.
It all costs ETH,
crazy.
right? And all costs as well. And so the cost of testing and deploying all this ends up being very significant. And so to test on a test net or to test on a layer 2 or a sidechain or whatever it happens to be is a blessing, especially if they're EVM compatible. If you do your testing on a Polygon, on a BSC, on an Avalanche, whatever it happens to be, Arbitrum Optimism, when they all come out, then go on Ethereum as well, then there's some real potential there as well.
Yeah, exactly.
So you guys did integrate Chainlink price feeds, and now the price feeds it's BTC, right? Is it BTC USD, did you say?
Yeah, correct.
So at the end of your 10 days, I've made a prediction. I predict Bitcoin's going to be $10,000 at the end of 10 days. I'm total
you're not
bear.
a bear, Andy.
Total bear.
Friends,
so the end of the 10 days, your smart contract goes and it grabs the data feed, and anybody can go look at these. It's data.chain.link. You can go look at the data feeds. BTC USD is up there. And you can actually flip over to BSC. There's a little drop-down menu. You can see which network Chainlink is on, Ethereum, Avalanche, BSC, Polygon as well. So you're pulling that price feed, and then whatever that feed is at this given time, that determines how your market is going to pay out. Does that sound right?
Yeah, exactly. I guess that's one of the reasons that we obviously went with Chainlink at the paramount of price oracles. Integrity is one of the key values of our project, and making sure that people feel comfortable and happy that our markets are going to pay out at the correct rate, and people aren't diddled in terms of, oh, I feel like I should have been closer to that. This was my prediction. It looks like that's slightly off. That's obviously really integral to making sure we run a good DeFi protocol. So yeah, it's been an awesome working with Chainlink team. It's been easy to integrate, and it's been pretty smooth so far. Fingers crossed. Plenty more markets to come, though, Andy.
I mean, prediction markets like this, like yours, are ripe for Oracle exploits. Like if somebody finds out where you're getting a single source of data, if it's from one exchange, and that exchange for some reason has a thinner order book on Bitcoin that day, you can get a flash loan and you can manipulate that price pretty significantly, change the outcome, it could be incorrect, and really game this whole process. And so it's not only like a pretty important, it's really important to have a very secure method that actually gets the accurate market price, or else why would any user use your product, right? If that can be manipulated. That's my perspective, at least.
Yeah,
exactly. I want that security, at least, that you guys aren't choosing. No offense, you guys seem cool. I don't want Harry and Jelly choosing what that price is. I want the market to choose that.
We've been running some sort of MVP sort of beta versions with our community on just sort of Telegram, and there was some like, are we getting the source from TradingView? Are we getting it from Dex Tools, etc.? Where is it coming from? So it's amazing to have it, on chain. Completely agreed, and I think, as Joel says, it just makes that integrity. So yeah, luckily it worked. Well,
it works. No, that's awesome. It's a great use case to see it in action, and congratulations on the launch, guys. I want to dig into a little bit more about prediction markets in general, because they're a really old use case for smart contracts and for Ethereum. Vitalik talked about prediction markets in the original Ethereum white paper. So if we can do blockchain stuff, well, what could we build on top of it? We could build a prediction market. And prediction markets are especially cool. If you think about normal, like betting, for example, is a different sort of version of it. But if I go to make a bet with my friend, with you guys, let's say, I got to give my funds and you got to give your funds to our friend Dave. Who's Dave? I don't know. Dave's just some guy that we know that we happen to trust. And, in a lot of, personal pools or friend pools, you give it to somebody you trust, and that's fine. And it works out, hopefully, okay. But as soon as you try to scale that, then you're placing trust in centralized institutions. And those centralized institutions don't always have an incentive to play fair. So prediction markets are this really cool use case where instead of a centralized institution holding it, it's locked in a smart contract. Everybody has access to their funds. It's transparent. It's managed by a blockchain of decentralized nodes. I just think it's a really fascinating use case in general. Has that tweaked your excitement? Do you guys get excited about prediction markets and the potential of them?
I mean, Vitalik was definitely a sort of an inspiration for going down the route. You know, he spoke a lot about how it was an underserved space still to this day. You know, like there's been a lot of great stuff done by sort of initial projects starting, but it's still a space that has so much more to go.
Yeah, and I think if you saw his recent talk at ECC over in Paris, I think it was in July, he talked extensively about prediction markets being integrated into social media, and sort of the quality of social media sites is so low. How do we improve that? And that's on whether people's predictions, what they're saying, gets improved. So that was super interesting to see. Like, those are so many use cases that you wouldn't even think of. That's like, that's what blockchain's going to bring. You know, the whole idea of social media is going to be reimagined in terms of its revenue models, tokenization, all of that kind of stuff. And I think prediction markets are potentially going to play a big part in that. So that's
incentives, right? It's a new way to structure incentives.
Yeah, exactly. And as you say, the trustless system of it is just absolutely perfect. No third party stuff that you have to rely on. All of those sorts of bits are they're the blockchain mantra, you know.
Now, so despite all that, prediction markets have not seen this huge adoption. They haven't seen like the NFT. Like, people get NFTs. It's like, oh, it's collectibles. I get it. Number go up. I want some. Like, it's all of these worlds, or IP, intellectual property. Like, musicians and artists kind of understand digital property. Tokens, obviously, like, it kind of makes sense. You have a token, it does something, you put it into a coin slot. But prediction markets haven't seen that. Just coming from this space, now you guys are in this prediction market world. Why do you think that is? Why haven't they caught on and been adopted as much?
I guess, like I say, you know, crypto markets are so volatile. You know, Andy, do you really want to, if you're not a very expert analyst who's comfortable making those sorts of calls, do you actually want to predict what the price of BTC is going to be in 10 days and risk your crypto on it? Yeah. I don't think a lot of people are saying yes to that. And sort of the underlying, you know, more traditional use cases in terms of when you're doing CFD trading, options, futures, they're quite complex financial instruments. Like your potential usual DeFi user or usual sort of investor doesn't really want to get embroiled in technical, complex financial instruments, and therefore want something simple. And I think that's where we've started to see less and less people using those like really intense yield farming and these sorts of bits. And that's what we're trying to do, is drive accessibility to prediction markets. And one step of that is to try and de-risk some of the initial capital loss. You know, you don't want to predict and lose potentially 100% of your crypto if you don't know the price of Bitcoin next week, because Elon Musk might come back with a Dogecoin tweet and shoot it off into the roof or plummet it into the floor. You just don't know. So I think that's one reason. And then the second reason is it just no one's quite come along and absolutely nailed it in terms of easy UI. It's quite a lot of information to convey, and that's hopefully something that we're trying to also solve there.
Can you guys believe Elon on Saturday Night Live and all that? That was this year. That was like a few months ago. That feels like
who would have predicted it, Andy?
I feel like watching Elon. We're going through, you know, when people like sort of fall down the rabbit hole. They get into Bitcoin, and then they're like, oh, and then there's ETH, and then they're like, oh, there's 10 pages, 100 pages to coin market cap.
I'm gonna go find a fun one.
Yeah, I feel like, because he's so like, he's doing it all so publicly. He's kind of going through the journey. You know, it's a bit like when we look at Michael Saylor. Michael Saylor is still on sort of like page one. He's still just like, Bitcoin, I want to buy as much. I mean, I saw he bought another huge whack yesterday. And it's like, just wait till he discovers Cardano, Ethereum, you know, all the rest. He's really going to be enlightened by it all.
I found Dogecoin early in my journey as well, and it was an incredible tool, because like you could mine with it, and you could see like, oh, this is how mining works. Oh, I could run this on my computer. I understand I can't do that on my computer with Bitcoin anymore, not efficiently, but like it was a really cool teaching tool. So like it does have definitely these uses. Anyways, I don't want to get off topic, because you guys, Jolly, you brought up something really interesting, and so let me backtrack, because this is a new thesis I've just developed. Let's see if it's options trading, binary options, these prediction markets, they're kind of complicated financial instruments if you use them in a portfolio of other financial instruments. So if I'm trying to be like a complex money manager, I've got a money market that's like really straightforward, basic interest rate. I've got some assets that, might fluctuate. Maybe I've got some other products, yield farming sort of thing that are different. But maybe that's all I need. Maybe I don't even need that much, as an average person, a retail investor. Somebody who's a hedge fund manager, they're looking to do those things that I just mentioned, but then also get into these more complicated elements. But they're not ready to go into all this risk strategy if those base elements aren't there already. And those base elements have only been there for the past year and a half, right? DeFi, like basic yield farming and money markets and lending, that's only really been in place for the past year and a half. So maybe here's my prediction. Prediction markets are poised to actually see a resurgence. Now that there's real funds doing lending and money markets and these things in DeFi, maybe they're going to be starting to look for those binary options, those synthetic assets, all these sort of different kinds of things. Prediction.
Right. I'm with you. I'm backing it. No, and I think also it's just, we're only at 2.5 million DeFi users. It's nothing. I think the goal for TotemFi is eventually to keep developing a DApp until people don't actually understand whether they're using a blockchain DApp or not. That's the kind of eventually down the line, you're using prediction markets and you can maybe have a fiat plug it. There's a lot of regulation to come in terms of getting that over the line, because it's a difficult space at the moment in terms of crypto's not been put in a box because a box doesn't exist for it yet. But we'll get there, and that's the goal, is to try and bring the benefits of blockchain to non-coiners as well. Like, at the moment it's fairly restrictive to get into some of the DeFi, using your MetaMask, how do you get your ETH onto that MetaMask? How do you actually connect to the Binance Smart Chain? Those sorts of things are slowly, it's an educational piece and a lot of people are picking up very quickly. But I think it's just, position yourself at the beginning, first mover, and work super hard just to continue to deliver like products that people want to see. That's where the on-chain governance come in. Where it's sort of asking our community at the moment, do you want shorter pools, do you want longer pools? People's preferences are different. So it's just delivering a product that people want to see and will use, I think. Well, that sets me up for my final question. What do you guys got coming on the roadmap?
Oh yeah.
How long have you got? No, we got some really exciting things coming. So I think it's just trying to really hone in on the focus of us being too prescriptive and not listening to the community or not having a clear vision. So I think at the moment it's thinking about the next 1 to 6 months of focusing on expanding the on-chain assets. So adding your ETHs, your Cardanos, etc., and all the way down to hopefully some smaller cap tokens. But there's also a lot of metrics you can play around with each prediction pool. So the length of it, is it a high burn pool where lots goes more to the winners and it's more punitive? Those sorts of things is where we want people to vote and instruct us on a bit of idea. Then you've got your off-chain assets, your golds, your Teslas, those kind of bits. And then we want the real world events to come in. And that's your kind of stake for Biden, stake for Trump, political events. Some of those prediction markets where it's interesting. Let's see wisdom of the crowd on those things. Are we getting the calls right? And the sentiment gauge. And then there's huge plans to expand into kind of gamified NFT auctions, and also sort of what we're doing at the moment is gamified pre-IDO allocations. So people predicting the outcome of IDO launches, people predicting the outcome of NFT launches. So whether that is, there's an NFT drop coming, what are the total number of transactions going to be in the first 48 hours? You win 3 of those NFTs if that's correct. So
what's the floor? What's
the price floor? Those kind of things. So we've got a lot of ideas in the pipeline of gamifying in a really transparent on-chain way. A lot of these things, the whole benefit is when you're doing pre-IDO allocations on-chain, the whitelisting solution is solved because, it's not like, I've got a friend, let's just give 50 of the 100 whitelist spots to them. It's everyone have a prediction, no favorites, launchpad kind of thing. So there's plenty coming down the line.
Also, we want to let a few pools be created by the community. So if they, with their on-chain governments, if they vote, they can hopefully create their own pools further down the line.
I am listening to your roadmap and I'm hearing Chainlink Price Feed, Chainlink Data Feed, Chainlink Data Feed.
Oh, there's a lot. There's a lot.
So our community is called the Totem Warriors, and I really think the Totem Warriors with the Chainlink Marines, it's a good combo.
It's a good combo. We got an army together.
It makes a lot of sense. I do have one question from one of our longtime participants, Requiem's in the chat. I'm going to put you up here. Are you looking for any lending protocols like Maple or just prediction markets? So, Requiem, can you or borrow from lenders to jumpstart? Can you clarify a little bit your question? I'm not exactly sure what you mean. Like, are you looking to do any lending pools with other sort of or pools with other lenders and working in with that?
I think we're always open to collabs. We have obviously in the crypto sphere, there's plenty of integrations that happen. We're always looking to do value add ones where we feel that we can really give value to them and they can give value to us. So I think I haven't personally heard of Maple Finance, but if there's something to be done there, definitely looking to add that onto the roadmap if that's what people want to see.
Yeah, for example, we got Bridge Mutual, so we want to try and get some sort of insurance going, and like that we're sort of chatting to them about our partnership there. So yeah, so I guess that's cool. The insurance widget that's going to be introduced on the platform at some point over the coming months, where people can insure themselves on the security of our smart contracts, just in the worst case event that there is a hacker. Maybe the hacker will give it back though.
No, that's a great that's a great roadmap item though. All right, yeah. Requiem, go drop a warrior on these guys in a Twitter feed. He's a regular on our Twitter feeds as well, and appreciate you being here, man. Guys, it's been awesome to talk to you and get to know you. If I ever make it to London, I'm going to come up to your rooftop and skate and break myself inside your little office there. But so let's stay in touch, man. Does that sound good?
Awesome. That sounds wonderful.
Thanks so much for having us, Andy.
Oh, dude, my pleasure. I'm going to talk to the gang here in a minute, but I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.
Cheers, Andy. Bye.
Hey, everybody. That was cool. That was fun. TotemFi there. You guys can peace out, whatever you want. I'll talk to you on Telegram. I want to let everybody know you can like and subscribe to this video. Please do, because we do these Q&As. And we're doing 3 a week for the next month. There's a ton of really great projects coming up. Tailies is next week, and a couple others that I cannot mention yet, but that will be coming that are cool. NFT, one of them is an NFT project for sure that's kind of mind-bending and weird. Really, really interesting one. And some other ones, all sorts of interesting stuff. Join the Chainlink communities. Join the Chainlink Telegram, the Discord. Follow Smart Contract, Smart_contract on Twitter to get announcements for these. Like and subscribe to the YouTube video, of course. Look, check this out. I got a banner now. I'm at Andy Boyan on Twitter. You can follow me there as well. And you can go down in the comments of some of my Chainlink tweets and find Requiem's tweets there. Follow Requiem. Requiem's awesome. I always appreciate your contributions, man. They're very interesting. And what else we got? Oh, join the Totem communities. Help them out. Go join the Telegram, see how they do governance, join the Discord, and participate in that really exciting couple of guys and a team there building something very interesting. So feel free to join their communities and be part of that. Everybody, this has been Chainlink Live. I really appreciate you joining me. If you've been with me all week, man, what a week. We're going to do it again next week. So stay in tune. Like and subscribe. Smash, blah, blah, blah. You get it. I'll talk to you later.